This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Coming up this hour on Sunrise, friends and family come together to remember a 26-year-old woman who died while waiting for the bus after two street racers lost control of their cars.
It hit so hard it exploded the bench.
That's the woman's mother. We'll hear more from her coming up in just a minute.
Also, a fiery rescue captured on a police body camera. Coming up this morning, a closer look at the heroic actions of a Beaverton officer. Plus,
That's how you can change a tire in under 4 seconds.
woo!
It's a little twist on our Rod on the Road series. This morning, it's actually Rod on the Raceway. Rod took a trip out to Portland International Raceway to get us ready for this weekend's Grand Prix of Portland.
Yeah, tons of fun stuff to do this holiday weekend. 3-dayer for a lot of folks with the Labor Day coming up. Good Friday morning. So you had fun at the Raceway. It's going to be a nice weekend for it.
That was correct, by the way. He said under 4 seconds.
That's crazy.
To change a tire. Took me 5 minutes to get the little doohickey on the doohickey.
Where the heck keep that thing at?
Hey, the race is over. Forget about it. Yeah. All right, here we go. I do want to point out we have heat advisories for much of central and eastern Oregon, and the area in red also under a red flag warning for high fire danger today. Madras, Bend, John Day, Baker City. Much of this area, including Bend, the Dalles, out to eastern Oregon, we'll be looking at high temperatures back up to about 100 today. So more on all that coming up. Here locally, we're looking for cloudy areas like we had yesterday morning, potentially. Right now it is cloudy along the coast. It's cloudy up in Kelso, Longview. Clear down in Salem. We'll be 75 and sunny at noon, and we'll be upper 80s when the kids get out of school today. And we could make it back up to 90. We actually hit 91 yesterday. That's your forecast.
Rob, thank you. We start with a devastating loss for a local family that could have been avoided. Portland police say 26-year-old Ashley McGill was killed by an out-of-control street racer as she was waiting for the bus. This happened early Saturday morning on Southeast 133rd and Stark. Police say the car was going so fast the impact likely killed Ashley instantly. Her mom says she didn't hear from authorities for 3 days. Last night, dozens of friends and family gathered at the crash site for a vigil.
It's not fair. And that just hurts the person itself. It hurts the family. Some people aren't going to get it until it happens to someone in their family. And that's not right.
Investigators are still looking into the crash, but so far they have not made any arrests. The family is now struggling to pay funeral expenses. If you'd like to help, we have posted a link to a verified GoFundMe on our website, kgw.com.
Let's get to a few other local headlines on this Friday morning, and we start with a shooting on I-205 that sent a cab driver to the hospital. This happened yesterday morning around 9 o'clock near the Gleason Street exit. Police say someone started shooting. They hit the cab twice. One of the bullets actually pierced the tailgate, the back seat, and then hit the driver's seat, actually hitting the cabbie in the lower back. The cab driver drove himself to the hospital while also calling 911 to report the suspect's license plate number. Officers were able to find the suspect's vehicle and arrested the suspected shooter a little bit later. The driver had surgery. His wife tells us he is in stable condition. We just received body camera footage of a Beaverton police officer pulling a man out of a burning car. This happened early Tuesday morning on Southwest Hockin and Jenkins. You can see the officer busting open the sunroof of the car, trying to get to the driver who was unconscious inside. What you don't see were a number of small explosions that initially prevented the officer from helping out here. After several attempts, the officer manages to pull the man out. That driver is okay, but he's now facing DUI and reckless driving charges. And that's a look at some of our morning headlines.
We also have a big COVID update from the CDC. It signed off on the new Pfizer and Moderna boosters that target Omicron, and shipments are on their way to Western states. Oregon health officials say the new booster should be available next week. Pfizer is for people 12 and up. Moderna is for those 18 and over. The CDC recommends you wait at least a couple of months after your most recent COVID shot or booster before getting this new one.
Well, yesterday marked the start of September, which is also Hunger Action Month. And for many, that means volunteering or raising money to help people in need. Last night, the organization Partners for a Hunger-Free Oregon held a fundraiser. The nonprofit supports making changes on a systems level. So, for example, they're trying to change laws so immigrants can access federal nutrition programs, regardless of their status.
Something like going to a grocery store, which a normal person would take for granted, is huge for someone who doesn't have those resources. And being able to pick their own food, culturally appropriate food that doesn't make them sick, is something that's so significant that most people just wouldn't really think about.
The Oregon Food Bank says nearly 1 in 5 Oregonians face food insecurity. On Wednesday, they gave their annual State of Hunger address. They say as people continue recovering from the pandemic, inflation, also dealing with rising fuel costs, it's really cutting into food budgets even more than ever. They hope people who need food assistance will visit OregonFoodFinder.org. I'll say that again, OregonFoodFinder.org. That's where you can find resources near you.
Also this morning, we want to take a moment to talk about wildfires. Today actually marks 5 years since the Eagle Creek fire in the Columbia River Gorge.
That fire burned more than 48,000 acres. Many of us will remember that fire forever. It started back on September 2nd of 2017, trapped 150 hikers who were forced to stay the night in the mountains, and later they were led to safety by search and rescue teams. Wind pushed the flames west, shutting down huge sections of I-84 and forcing hundreds of people to evacuate. The fire burned for 3 months. It shut down the Multnomah Falls Lodge and 13 hiking trails in the gorge. Investigators determined that the fire was set by a teen using fireworks. In February of 2018, a judge sentenced that teen to 5 years probation and nearly 2,000 hours of community service.
And when you drive through the gorge even today, you see the scars, some of the burned trees where it roared through. That was something else.
Yeah, remember you mentioned the winds were pushing that fire back to the west. It basically came right up and then stopped before it got to Corbett. But those people, I believe, had to evacuate for a number of days. That was something.
Yeah, it was. And now we're dealing with some more wildfire smoke. But you said that the air quality alert was lifted yesterday?
Yes. Now, air quality this morning is still a mix of moderate to good, but it's not expected to deteriorate up and down the I-5 corridor beyond that point. So that's good news. Okay, it is Labor Day weekend. What are you going to do? Let's go to the beach. What the heck? All right, coast forecast looks pretty nice overall. Let's go Saturday. Morning cloud cover, probably some traces of light moisture. Tomorrow's the day where some areas could stay cloudy all day. So if you're in a spot at the beach tomorrow, you don't have any sun, you'll only be in the mid-60s. But then Sunday, this is the brightest bet, with any early cloudiness clearing up and down the coast, and most areas at least getting up into the 70s. We'll go 70, 75. And then Labor Day, back to some morning cloud cover, but a better chance of Monday clearing out than tomorrow, which means a better chance of maybe bouncing up to 70, not expecting really any wind to speak of. So that's your Labor Day weekend coast forecast. To start the show, I did mention the heat advisories and the red flag warnings posted for a good chunk of central and eastern Oregon. In terms of fire danger, winds in places like Jefferson County and out toward the Blue Mountains to 25 miles per hour today. Low humidity and hot temperatures, at least 95 to many areas closer to 100 to 102. So we'll keep an eye, again, that's central and eastern Oregon today. All right, otherwise, no weather systems coming and going. So we do have low marine clouds at the beach right now. It's also cloudy up in Kelso, Longview. Otherwise, we're pretty clear out there, or hazy. 66 out of PDX, 59 in Salem, mid-50s over in Bend, 43 in Baker City, and 49 in Burns. That's cool, right? All right, today, could we get back up to 90 degrees in spots? We think so. Forecasting 90 in Salem. It was low 90s for you folks yesterday. Only low 80s up in Longview after some morning clouds, but Battleground 88 in Vancouver and Portland could each just get back to 90. If we do, it will be the 28th day, I believe. So we're getting close to that record of 31. But then tomorrow, morning clouds clear, a high of only 80. 84 Sunday, mostly sunny. Early clouds of sun, 82 on Labor Day. So really, Monday, Sunday, Saturday, that all looks to be pretty good. All right, vroom, vroom, we're at the racetrack. Kind of sounded more like a chainsaw, maybe. I don't know. All right, I got to talk about the safety crews at PIR. We also spent some time talking with a pit master about changing tires. This is IndyCar style racing. My story coming up.